The speech that Marjorie Taylor Greene gave to the world on February 5th, 2021 was epic and should go down in the annals of American history. A true patriot, a true God lover. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a rare gem in this world. I would like to thank her for her work and her behavior. I would like to thank her for her quest and her understanding. I would like to thank her for her means of progressing this understanding and this frequency unto the world. This frequency of truth, this frequency of purity, this frequency of quest, this frequency of the attainment of knowledge, this frequency of the attainment of the values that are important and necessary to what she calls her constituents and what we call overall America and the world. What are now known as conservative values are being demonized as the left and communists try to take over. The very nature and notion of this takeover is the very nature and reality of evil itself. Marjorie Taylor Greene, standing up to the evil, is catching waves and waves and waves of an onslaught, the gauntlet that she's now in, and I cannot say enough that I appreciate her vibe through it, her energy through it, to maintain, persevere, and even now begin to overcome what has been put on her. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene stands on the rock, stands on truth, adorning a cross around her neck that was continually shadowed by the microphone. Her way to address the public shadows her Christ. She has to speak to this public who is being manipulated and used by the media who is using a form of propaganda and being co-opted by what is commonly called the deep state, which is really our intelligence communities that are entrenched with most of the DC bureaucrats. So this is what Trump was up against, and this is what Marjorie's now up against, Mrs. Greene. This is what the people of America are up against. This is what the children of God are now up against. The CIA itself has directed an attack and thereby a war, an onslaught towards conservatives and Christians who they are trying to coin as political extremists because they aren't going along with the rhetoric of the left, the communistic, anti-human, anti-freedom agenda and rhetoric of the left. On Marjorie's rock, which was her stump to deliver her stump speech, Mrs. Greene stood for the principles of Christ in the face of all danger, in the face of all enemies, in the face of the barking dogs known as the media, the reporters who were viciously waiting to attack her as soon as she quit speaking and who have continued to attack her since. A verbal, mental, and written onslaught of this young lady, a mother, an all-American woman, a patriot, a conservative, whose values still now are truly those of the majority except for the media majority. Marjorie, like myself, was born in America, has lived in America, and known America all her life. There's a certain decorum, there's a certain respect that people like AOC, Cori Bush, Nancy Pelosi, and others aren't respecting. A certain respect that they're not respecting. Laws that the FBI is not respecting. Constitutional rights that even our Supreme Court is not respecting. Abortion itself is against the rights, the civil rights of the child. So in the guise of civil and medical rights for a woman, the freedom of choice, we are taking away the civil rights, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We are taking that freedom from the baby. Yes, it is a baby. A baby by many other names is still a baby. Marjorie confronted those issues head on, despite the fact that she knows that the onslaught will continue as she brought up these critical issues of abortion, election fraud, and actually stating that the Republican Party was Donald Trump's. Well, aside from God and Christ's, who else would it be? The Republican Party has a bunch of rhinos and hypocrites, flip-floppers, knuckle-draggers, coattail riders, frauds, essentially wolves in sheep's clothing, devils in disguise, and the disguises aren't too good. And this is what the Republican Party consists of, and this is why Donald Trump was able to go in and beat dozens of Republican competitors in the Republican primary, since the news and the direction of the Republican Party has been directed at and dictated by Donald Trump. So what she's saying, and all of what she's saying, is Christ and God's honest truth, yet she is being villainized like she herself committed treason or that she herself committed insurrection. The only insurrection that is occurring is by those that are attacking her. And that's what we should always know about the situation. There are all of these attacks and all of these unreasonable people that are creating and perpetuating rhetoric that is damaging the fabric and the consciousness and the humanity of America. This is not by accident. This is not by drama. This is by design. This is not by reaction. This is not by emotion. This is by design.